Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel. It feels a little bit weird that since I've been in front of the camera so much to actually be back in my normal habitat behind it. But we're going to get more of that this coming December. Anyway, when I went to my local game store yesterday, I picked up a couple boxes of Dice Throne by, Roxley Games. So we're going to crack these open and see what's in here. Admittedly, these two are total art purchases to start with. So we're going to pull this box out of shot and start off with Seraph versus Vampire Lord. This one's the classic Heaven versus Hell matchup. Angel versus Demon, however you want to put it. So let's take a look at the back. Welcome to Dice Throne, a heart-pumping, fast-playing game of skillful card play and dice manipulation that will have your game nights cheering. This box contains a complete game. Looks to be very straightforward, and I did just watch Jester do a playthrough of Marvel Dice Throne. So Jester, if you stop by later in chat, or either in chat or watch the comments later, thanks for doing that playthrough for me. I'm probably going to end up doing more with Dice Throne. The Vampire Lord's power paralyzes even the bravest fighters. No combatant is more vicious. Her rending claws will leave her foes bloody and hemorrhaging. Attempting to resist her mesmerizing gaze or overcome her powerful blood magic will prove deadly for any foolish enough to oppose her. Against the Seraph. The Seraph is the very hand of God. Her blades are infused with holy energy designed to cut evil from the earth. Her crystal wings carry her above the battlefield, where her brilliant light blinds all who do not avert their gaze. Humble yourself before her holy presence, or die. Seraph looks to be a complexity 3. Vampire Lord's a complexity 4. Let's get this one cut open and see what's in here. Closing the knife carefully. There we go. Shrink wraps off. Let's crack this box open and see what's actually in here. We're actually going to go all the way into these boxes. We've got Seraph up first, with the tokens that are probably going to need to get punched. Let's actually open up Seraph all the way. Definitely like the art on that. The one thing that's a little bit bothersome, though, I don't think it'll be a big problem, is it's very glossy. But definitely great production. We've got all of our abilities here. So it seems like, from what I was watching on Jester's playthrough, it seems like it's going to be straightforward. Where it'll be just basically be roll your dice. It's basically like Cthulhu, it's basically like Combat Yahtzee or Elder Sign is the impression I was getting out of it. Flight, Blinding Light, Cleanse, Holy Presence, and Blessing of Divinity. Then what the symbols are to each color. Then rules, clarifications, kind of a little bit of a bio on that. So these tokens look like they're going to be relevant to both characters. We've also got the combat points, the combat point dial, the health dial. We'll set that to 50 for default. Then we've got the cards, which this is going to be a rare game that I might not sleeve. It's also got the turn order reference card on the back. This is a rare game I might not sleeve, just because everything seems like it's going to fit so well. I'm going to go ahead and start punching the tokens I need, though. Presumably the other ones will go with Vampire Lord. So I'll put those there. The Blinding Light. Cleanse. Holy Presence are these. And Blessing of Divinity. I'll put the rest of these to the side, just because, like I said, I think they're going to be relevant for Vampire Lord. Then we've got the dice. The one thing I was worried about was how big these dice were going to be. They're actually normal size, so they should be no problems going through either of my main dice towers. They'll go through there just fine. And over to the other one. Hold on. I don't know why they stacked like that. Let's try that again. Oh! I see why they're stacking like that, because I've got the stupid tower turned the wrong way. Duh. Herp. That's more like it. Okay. So yeah. Troy Sawyer. Like those counters? You have several of them. Take it you like them. Well, we're going to find out. But so far, just in the sample, just in the few videos I've watched, I am pretty impressed by what I see so far. And I'll probably put this on the channel very early during the advent of the Phoenix. And I'll give away a little bit of what I'm thinking about here as we continue to move into the box. I'll talk more about this during Pinot with Phoenix. We've got our catalog here as well. Okay, looks like, well, this is a season 1 box that we're cracking open, and we've got a season 2 box. Actually, this is season 2 we're cracking. We've got a season 1 as well. Okay, interesting. Then the rules of play, which we'll give our thumb through when we're done with this box. So what I'm thinking about, like I said, I'll talk about this more during Pinot with Phoenix later, but I'm looking for a new way to determine the opponent for Christmas in Arkham. Just because Jester and I have been talking in the green room after each round of the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament about how much of a slog that was. And yeah, it kind of was a slog. I went with that. Well, like I said, I'll talk more about it, but this is an idea that I'm using to explore a new way to determine the opponent. Anyway, here's Vampire Lord. We'll put that tray back in along with the catalog. So now we'll look at Vampire Lord. Once again, a great screen. I am a little bothered that it doesn't fold out like that. That doesn't fold out like a normal dungeon screen. So I'll probably have to lay it down. I'll figure out how I want to lay this out, but one of these Dice Throne boxes is probably going to be the first thing that I put on the channel. We'll see about that, though. Yep, the other tokens relate to Vampire Lord. So we've got Blood Power, Mesmerize, and Bleed. I'll go ahead and punch those. Okay, so that is now empty. That can hit the garbage. Once again, her CP counter. Looks like it goes up to... Looks like they go up to 15. Then we've got her health dial in here as well. Once again, her cards that I'm not gonna pull those out of the shrink until I'm ready for them. Her dice. Should be no problems putting these through either tower. All good there. And now that I've actually remembered to turn the tower so the opening faces out correctly on this one. The only problem is them getting stuck, but otherwise they'll go through both towers just fine. We'll put everything back in here. Everything is very straightforward. Then we'll give the book a quick thumb through as well. This is going to be a little bit wider than I'm used to. Okay. Yeah, it looks like a pretty good rule book here. Game setup, everything is very straightforward on that. Turn phases. The hero board. Hero leaflet to explain everything. I imagine it'll be the same rule book in the other box, so I don't think we'll bother giving that a thumb through at the end of that box. Okay, I was wondering if there was a King of the Hill mode for this one. So yeah, there is. So yeah, there is, which I might be using as part of the other idea I've got. We've got the turn breakdown. Okay, well, everything looks like it's going to be very straightforward and a quick reference. All right, so that's one box done. Now let's zoom out and bring the other one in. This one is Pyromancer versus Shadow Thief. The Pyromancer has only one way to deal with her enemies: swift, hot destruction. She's a glass cannon who deals massive amounts of even her defense is offensive. She is a glass cannon who deals massive amounts of damage, turning her foes to ash. And the Shadow Thief doesn't like to end things quickly, much preferring the long con. Gaining CP, poisoning foes, hiding and striking from the shadows. That is the way of the Shadow Thief, and if their complicated game plans are allowed to reach fruition, victims will find themselves in utter ruin. We'll go ahead and crack this open as well, just to make sure we get both of these done, and we'll see what's in here. Shadow Thieves of a complexity 5, Pyromancer's complexity 3. There we are. Shrink wrap is off on this box, so let's crack it open. And I think one of my neighbor's car alarms is going off. That's the one thing I don't necessarily like, is I'm having a hard time getting under the box when I'm trying to, when I don't want to get the lid off. Let's look at Pyromancer. We've got her hero board. Again, like the art, the glossiness is bothersome, but not the end of the world. Then we've got her leaflet. We'll punch out her tokens. So we've got Knockdown, Burn, Fire Mastery, and Stun. So here's the Fire Mastery first. Burn. Let's see, we've got a Stun. And this one's Knockdown. The rest of those should be relevant to the Shadow Thief. Then we've got the same catalog and the rule book. I'd be stunned if this isn't exactly the same thing. I'll just give it a very cursory thumb through, and yes, it is. Okay. And of course the rules clarification for the Pyromancer. So we'll put that back in like so. And then we will take a look at the Shadow Thief last up. Shadow Thief's board. Looking like that. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be very straightforward. Looks like it's going to, like I said, it looks like it's combat, Elder Sign, or Yahtzee. I'm not going to bother putting the dice through the dice tower at this point. And yep, shadows, sneak attack, and poison. So let's get all of these punched out. And all can go in there. Punch board is now empty, so sayonara with you. Once again, the combat points and health counters, the dice, and the cards. We can throw that back in here, this way. And we'll get all of this back in the box. Would help if I put it in the bottom of the box, not the lid. Okay, perfect. And then that is everything in the box for these first two boxes of Dice Throne. I will probably be looking to get this on the channel very soon. Not tonight, I don't think, because tonight's going to be Pinot with Phoenix, and I want to make sure I have dinner beforehand, so I'm not going to try to rush that in. I might set this up for tomorrow morning, though. I'll have to give that some thought. But that'll do it for this unboxing of Dice Throne. I'll plug everything coming up after Pinot with Phoenix later tonight. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.